we're gonna make ice cream cake. And this is kind of a 2-day process really, because you got to get the ice cream frozen and the cake frozen and lots of other things. So this is just the first day. We're going to get the ice cream ready to go in the freezer. I use my 8-inch springform pans to do the ice cream because it's easier to get it out. So I line this pan with saran wrap. I do both directions to make sure I've got a good coverage. So, and being ice cream and saran wrap and freezing, it doesn't need any spray because the saran wrap will just peel right off. So there we go, we get our pans ready first. Okay, so now that we've got, I do 2 pans. Now that we've got them ready with the saran wrap, put in ice cream. You want to leave it out for probably about ½ hour to an hour to get nice and soft. I do thin layers, so I do about half the container in each pan. Sometimes it's hard to get it exact, but a little bit in each pan here. And you don't want it to get like completely melted, or else it'll have ice crystals when it refreezes. You just want it barely soft enough to be able to push into the pan here. Just push it around into all the corners. And like I said, I like to do thinner layers of the ice cream and then more layers instead of just 1 layer of ice cream. So this cake will end up being 2 layers of ice cream and 3 layers of cake. So layer of cake, layer of ice cream, layer of cake, layer of ice cream, and then a layer of cake on top. So after you get it kind of squished around a little bit, you just bring the edges down. This. And then you can, I put another piece over the top to kind of fill in that gap in the middle and make sure I don't get any freezer burn when it goes in the freezer. So after it's all covered, then I use the saran wrap to even it out a little bit, make sure all the holes are filled in, no gaps in the ice cream. Okay, and then we do this again on the other pan, and then we put them in the freezer. I like to put them in the freezer for overnight so that they get good and hard before I try to put them in with the regular cake. Okay, we're going to make the frosting for the ice cream cake. I start with 3 cups of whipping cream in my stand mixer with the whisk attachment. Gets it done the fastest. And 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And if you want to color the frosting, you can put whatever color food coloring you want into this. But today I'm just going to leave it white. Take a minute or so. Make sure all the powdered sugar isn't sticking to the edges. Otherwise it doesn't need a lot of scraping once it's all combined. Ready to spread on the cake. You want it to have stiff peaks, which means that when you pull it up like that, the points stay up. They don't fall over. That's stiff peaks. So now we're going to start putting the cake together. I put a little bit of frosting down on the plate to keep the cake from sliding around.
Okay.
So now I've got these chocolate cakes that the kids made for me last night while I was putting the little ones to bed. I think they had a little bit of fun in my kitchen. If they made a mess, they cleaned it up before I saw. So, I'm not sure. Anyway, there we go. It's nice and frozen. So we start with a layer of cake. Put a little bit of frosting. Doesn't need a whole lot because the ice cream is really more like the frosting between the layers. So now take the ice cream out of my springform pan. And sometimes, depending on the pans I use, the cake or ice cream needs to be trimmed a little bit, depending on who was doing it, what pans were used, all that kind of thing. So I believe this time we've ended up with the cakes a little bit smaller around than the ice cream. It's all uncovered. Now I'm just going to set one of the cakes that are still wrapped on top of here and kind of trim the ice cream around the edges here. Hey, you're not supposed to be looking at your cake before you're done. Alright, so now we've got the right size ice cream for our cake. Alright, there we go. Would you like the rest? Apparently Russell's sampling his birthday cake before it's done here. Looks like I missed a little bit right there. And a lot of this can be covered up with the frosting anyway on the outside at the end. Everybody wants the pieces of ice cream. Anyway, a little more frosting. Another cake. And you just continue this way with as many layers as you happen to want. I usually do 3 layers of cake with 2 layers of ice cream in between. Okay, so I've got all my layers done, and as you can see, you know, it doesn't come out completely even, but that is what frosting is for. I just cover the whole outside, top and bottom. See, the frosting fills in all those little gaps. And what I do is I do kind of a rough frost on this and then put it in the freezer to get it hardened up again. Because already the ice cream and the cakes are thawing out. So we'll get this just covered up so that all the little crevices and holes are covered and it's mostly smooth. And then I'll freeze it and put another layer of frosting on.